Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Kids Club.
Hi.
Okay, so for today's lesson, we are going to be in the Old Testament again, and we're going to be in the book of 2 Kings. Okay, so 2 Kings, and we're going to be in chapter 5. 2 Kings, chapter 5. We are, yep, you want to check it out? There's no red words, because this is the Old Testament, okay? And we are going to be learning about someone named Naaman. Naaman. Yes. So the Bible tells us, 2 Kings chapter 5. Now remember, Itai, before we start, let me remind you, and remind all the boys and girls at home, that I don't make these things up. So what I'm going to read to you is from the Bible, and we can trust that it's true. Right? Because it's going to be pretty unbelievable. Just laying it out there for you. Okay, here we go. So, Naaman, do you like that name? Naaman? Yeah. So, Naaman was a commander in the army. So, he's kind of like a big, important person. All right? So, he was a commander. All right. And it says here that he was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram, the army that he's a commander of. Okay? He was a valiant soldier, and he had leprosy. Leprosy was that disease where you had sores, very painful sores all over your body. And then usually when you got leprosy, right, you would have to, there was no cure for it. It's not like you could just go get medicine and you would be cured, or you would just have it for like a week or two. Leprosy was a very serious disease. And a lot of times you would have to be separated or quarantined, separated from all of your family and all of your friends. Okay? So someone had told Naaman, the Bible tells us that someone tells Naaman about a prophet. Okay? And so he tells him that this prophet, a prophet of God, can heal him. All right? And so Naaman asked permission to go visit him. So, all right, to see if he can help. Right? If you had a serious disease and you thought somebody could help you, you would want to go see them, right? So this is what Naaman does. Okay? It says he took all of these things with him. Let's read what he takes with him. Okay? He takes 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing, as well as a letter that he takes, kind of like a letter of recommendation that he takes to the king of Israel, because he's going to Israel. So he takes all of these things with him to try to pay for his healing. He's like, man, if I take all of this money and all of these gifts, I can offer these in payment of my healing. That's his plan. That's what he's thinking. And he's got a letter that he's going to give to the king that says what a great guy he is. What do you think? Yeah? You think that's going to work well? Yeah. Let's see what happens when he gets there. Okay? So he goes, it says, when Elisha, that's the prophet, Elisha, the man of God heard, let's see, hold up, I skipped a part, silly me. As soon as the king of Israel read the letter that Naaman had, he tore his robes and said, I'm not God. How am I supposed to heal him? Why did he bring me this letter? What am I supposed to do? Okay, because he's just a man, right? Who can heal us? God. Okay, so Elisha hears about this and he talks to the king and he's trying to figure it out. So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and he stopped at the door of Elisha's house. So he realizes that the king can't help him, and so he goes to Elisha. Right? Right. Someone had told him about Elisha. He goes to Elisha's house. He's got all this money and all these gifts, and he is excited, and he's going to see Elisha the prophet. Okay? Okay. So it says, so Nathan went with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to talk to him. So Elisha, so, big old Naaman, he's kind of a big important person, walks up to Elisha's house with all of his gifts and all of his money, thinking, I got this, right? Surely he will want to see me. And Elisha knows that he's there. But Elisha is not impressed with Naaman. And he sent a messenger, which is someone who's going to deliver a message. He sends a messenger to Naaman with these directions. Go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River, and all of your skin will be restored, and you will be cleansed and healed of leprosy. What? So you probably think he just ran right out to the Jordan River, jumped in and dunked 7 times, right? Let's keep reading. But Naaman left and went away angry. He's mad at the message. I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord and wave his hand over all the spots and just cure me of my leprosy like that. Yeah. Then he goes on to talk about these other rivers that are a lot cleaner than the Jordan River, because apparently the Jordan River wasn't really all that pretty, I guess, at certain spots. It was kind of yucky, And so he's like, couldn't I just go to these other places and dunk in 7 times and be cleaned? So Naaman throws himself a little hissy fit, and he went off in a rage. Right there. Went off in a rage. Well, why was he mad? He went to the prophet Elisha to be healed. And Elisha sent a messenger with the directions on how to be healed. What's Naaman's problem? Do you know? No. Naaman had a plan. And in his head, he had this plan. And he thought, I'm going to take money. I'm going to take gifts. I'm pretty important. I'm going to go talk to the prophet Elisha. He's going to love to see me. He's going to do this big, extravagant thing. And he's going to heal me. And I'll give him the gifts. But Elisha had a different plan. God had a different plan. Let's keep reading. It says, Naaman's servants went to him and said, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you have done it? Why aren't you doing this? So they're kind of trying to be respectful, but they're trying to talk him into it. Why won't you follow the prophet Elisha's directions? I mean, if he asked you to do something extravagant and crazy, you probably would do it. So why aren't you going to do this? So it says that he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan River 7 times, just as the man of God had told him. And his skin was restored, and he became clean like that of a young boy. He was finally obedient. Yes. And then it says, Naaman and all of his attendants, like the people with him, went back to the man of God, and he stood before him and said, now I know that there is no God in all the world except the one true God. Please accept these gifts, like the gifts he had brought. But Elisha wouldn't accept the gifts. He said, no, thank you. I don't need a payment. It's okay. So let's think about this, Itai. Naaman had kind of an idea of what he thought was going to happen and how God was going to work, right? Yep. But God had a different plan, didn't he? Sometimes God has a different plan for us than what we think is going to happen. Did you know that? Sometimes we get it all in our head of what we think should happen or what we think God should do, and we get mad when it doesn't go our way. Have you ever gotten mad when it didn't go your way or you didn't get what you wanted? Oh, thanks for your honesty. Boys and girls, have you ever gotten mad when you didn't get what you wanted?
Everybody does.
Everybody does. You're right. We do. Sometimes we don't like it when we don't get what we want.
Especially kids.
Especially kids. I know some grown-ups too. So, but it didn't go the way Naaman thought it should go. God had a different plan for him. And God's plan humbled Naaman. Not only did he not get to see the prophet Elisha, but he had to go into the Jordan River, which he thought was yucky. Mm-hmm. So we have to know, boys and girls, that God's in charge, right, Itai?
Mm-hmm.
His plan is fast, and that really it's just our job to trust his plan, trust that he loves us and has the best ideas for us, right? And we have to obey those things, just like Naaman did. Naaman had to trust when Elisha said, you're going to be healed by going into the river, Jordan River 7 times. And he had to obey. He had to trust and he had to obey, even though it wasn't his idea and it wasn't his plan. So we need to trust and obey, just like Naaman eventually did, and make sure that we don't, get all hissy fit like Naaman did in the beginning when we don't get what we want, the way we want it. What do you think? Yeah. So we don't want to be like Naaman at the beginning of the story. We want to be like Naaman at the end of the story. Does that sound like a good plan? Yes. All right. Take care, boys and girls. Bye-bye.